A wind turbine that needs no maintenance, makes almost no noise, starts spinning in a gentle breeze, and looks like modern art on your roof. The question nobody asks before buying one is, how much electricity does it actually make? The answer will surprise you. The Liam F1, built by the Dutch company Archimedes, has become one of the most talked about small wind turbines on the internet, and it is not hard to understand why. Its spiral shape, a three-dimensional Archimedes screw that rotates on a horizontal axis, looks completely unlike anything else on a rooftop, and the performance claims that accompany it are genuinely compelling. It begins generating electricity at just 2 meters per second of wind speed, which is barely a light breeze. It operates at under 45 decibels at full speed, quieter than a normal conversation. Its spiral geometry allows it to capture wind from any direction without needing to physically rotate to face the breeze, which matters enormously in urban environments where wind direction changes constantly. It is safer for birds and wildlife than conventional bladed turbines. The AWM 2000 model with a 2-meter rotor is rated at up to 2 kilowatts of output, and the company claims that in areas with average wind speeds of 5 meters per second, it can generate around 3,600 kilowatt hours per year. On paper, in a promotional video, against a clean blue sky, it is everything a rooftop energy solution should be. And then you install it on an actual rooftop in an actual city, and the physics of the real world begins its quiet, patient, devastating work. The problem is not the turbine. The problem is the wind. Or more precisely, the almost complete absence of the kind of wind that any turbine needs to perform anywhere near its rated capacity. The Liam F1's marketing materials, like those of every small wind turbine before it, are built around performance figures derived from clean, steady, unobstructed airflow. That is not what exists in cities. Research from the International Energy Agency's WindTask 27, one of the most thorough independent assessments of urban small wind performance ever conducted, found that wind speeds in cities run 30 to 40% lower than in open terrain, and turbulence levels run 50 to 100% higher. Turbulence is the critical variable that most consumers never think about when they imagine a wind turbine on their roof, but it is the variable that determines whether a turbine generates electricity or simply shakes itself apart over time. Turbulent air does not flow smoothly over a blade or a spiral rotor in a way that produces consistent rotational force. It arrives in chaotic gusts from shifting directions, creates uneven loading across the rotor surface, and introduces mechanical stresses that accelerate wear on bearings, mounts, and structural components. A turbine rated for steady laminar airflow behaves very differently when the wind it actually receives is swirling, intermittent, and coming from 3 directions in the same minute. The result, documented across hundreds of urban small wind installations studied by independent researchers, is that most home wind turbines in city environments produce between 10 and 30% of their rated energy output over the course of a year. The gap between the brochure and the electricity bill is not a manufacturing defect, it is physics. To understand exactly why cities are so hostile to wind turbines, you need to think about what happens to moving air when it encounters buildings. In open terrain, wind flows in relatively smooth horizontal layers, with speed increasing consistently as you move higher above the ground. Buildings destroy that layered structure entirely. When wind hits a building, it separates into multiple streams, some deflecting over the top, some around the sides, some creating negative pressure zones on the leeward face that pull air backwards. These streams collide and mix at unpredictable angles behind the obstacle, creating the roiling, turbulent environment that characterizes the airspace at rooftop level in any built-up area. Every additional building in the vicinity adds its own contribution to this chaotic mixing, and the result is that the air a rooftop turbine encounters bears almost no resemblance to the smooth flow that its performance specifications assume. The Liam F1's omnidirectional capability addresses part of this problem. It does not waste energy constantly repositioning to face a shifting wind. But no design feature can compensate for wind that is simply too slow, too turbulent, and too inconsistent to transfer meaningful energy to a rotor of that size. The minimum wind speeds required for turbines to begin generating electricity, typically 3 to 4 meters per second for most designs and 2 meters per second for the Liam F1, are met frequently enough in most cities to keep the rotor spinning. The wind speeds required to approach rated output, typically 10 to 12 meters per second, are met rarely if ever at rooftop level in urban environments. A turbine spinning slowly in light, turbulent wind is technically generating electricity. It is not generating enough to justify the installation cost in most cases. The Liam F1 is a genuinely innovative piece of engineering, and it deserves credit for solving problems that conventional small wind turbines handle badly. Its low startup speed and omnidirectional capture are real advantages in urban environments. Its noise profile makes it far more acceptable for residential installation than a conventional propeller-style turbine whose blade tips can reach speeds that generate significant mechanical noise. Its visual design, whatever you think of aesthetics, makes it less likely to face planning or neighborhood objections than an industrial-looking three-blade rotor. The company's development roadmap, which includes a 10-kilowatt commercial model, solar and wind hybrid configurations, and building integrated variants with smart energy system connectivity, points toward a serious engineering organization that is thinking carefully about how this technology fits into a real energy infrastructure rather than simply selling a novelty product. The Chinese manufacturer Nantong R&X Energy produces Archimedes-style vertical turbines with models from 1 to 10 kilowatts, quoting approximately $4,700 for a 10-kilowatt unit. Though a complete installation including batteries, inverter, and hybrid control system brings the total to between $10,000 and $15,000. These are not trivial investments, and the performance uncertainty in urban environments means the return on that investment is heavily dependent on site-specific wind conditions that most buyers do not accurately assess before purchasing. The counterfeit problem compounds the complexity for consumers trying to navigate this space. The official Archimedes website does not list retail prices and does not offer a direct purchase path. The contact link loops back to the homepage, making it genuinely difficult to determine how to buy an authentic product or what it actually costs. In the meantime, turbines resembling the Liam F1 spiral design are listed on AliExpress and Amazon by third-party sellers, some with rated outputs of just 10 watts compared to the genuine product's range of 125 watts to 700 watts for the standard models. Buyers who encounter these listings, drawn by a lower price and a recognizable design, are in many cases purchasing decorative objects rather than functional power generation equipment. The original technology, the genuine innovation that Archimedes has developed, gets blamed for the failure of products that have nothing to do with it, and the general reputation of small wind technology suffers accordingly. The honest comparison that anyone considering rooftop energy generation needs to make is between small wind and solar photovoltaic. Solar panels win on almost every metric that matters for the average homeowner. Consistent and predictable output, lower installation cost per kilowatt of actual generation, a decades-long track record of reliability data, straightforward maintenance requirements, and performance that does not depend on a highly variable and difficult-to-predict local resource. Wind generation at small scale makes sense in specific contexts. Coastal locations, elevated rural sites, areas that receive consistent prevailing winds at useful speeds. But for the overwhelming majority of urban and suburban rooftops, a solar installation will generate more electricity more reliably at lower cost, with less maintenance, and with far more certainty about the return on investment. The genuinely correct answer for a homeowner with the budget and the roof space is both: a solar array for consistent baseline generation and a wind turbine for the hours and seasons when solar underperforms. Combined, they come closer to true energy independence than either technology achieves alone. But buying a wind turbine on the basis of a viral video showing a beautiful spiral spinning on a sunny day, without understanding the wind resource at your specific location and the real-world performance gap between rated output and actual generation, is how thousands of homeowners have ended up with expensive rooftop sculptures that produce disappointment. The Liam F1 is better than most of what came before it. In the right location, with honest expectations, it is a serious piece of technology. What it cannot do, what nothing can do, is extract useful energy from wind that is not there.